The rain started softly, tapping against the windows like quiet footsteps. Ethan sat alone in the living room, staring at his phone. Another message from Lily, working late again. "Don't wait up," he sighed. He loved his wife, but lately, her life was always work, sleep, repeat. The house felt empty, even though it wasn't. That was when the doorbell rang. Ethan opened the door and found Margaret standing there with a warm smile and a small umbrella dripping water. "I made soup," she said gently. "You shouldn't spend another evening alone." Margaret was Lily's mother. Since Ethan and Lily moved closer to her after her husband passed away, she had become part of their daily life. She was kind, calm, and always seemed to know when someone needed comfort. "Thank you," Ethan said, stepping aside. They sat at the kitchen table, steam rising from the bowls. Outside, the rain grew heavier. "You look tired," Margaret said softly. "Just lonely, I guess," he admitted before he could stop himself. She nodded slowly. "Loneliness can sit beside you even when you're married." Her words surprised him. "I felt that way for years," she continued. "Even when my husband was alive. Sometimes people love each other but stop seeing each other." Ethan listened closely. No one had ever spoken so honestly with him before. That night was the first of many. Margaret began visiting often, sometimes with food, sometimes just to talk. They laughed about small things. They shared stories about childhood, dreams, regrets. Ethan learned that Margaret once wanted to be a writer. She learned that Ethan used to dream of traveling the world. "You still can," she said once, looking at him like she truly believed it. Slowly, he noticed things he never had before. The way her eyes softened when he smiled, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, the way silence between them felt comfortable instead of awkward. At first, he told himself it was nothing. This was his mother-in-law. This was wrong. But feelings don't always listen to rules. One evening, Lily rushed out for another long shift. "Sorry, love," she said, kissing Ethan quickly. "Emergency. Cases tonight." Ethan watched her leave, his chest tight. Minutes later, Margaret texted, "If you're free, come have tea." He hesitated. Then he went. The house smelled of cinnamon. A small lamp glowed softly in the corner. They sat close on the couch, not touching, but aware of every breath. "You're quiet tonight," Margaret said. "Just thinking," he replied. "About what?" "About how life turned out differently than I expected." She looked at him for a long moment. "Sometimes life doesn't give us what we planned," she said. "It gives us what we need to learn." Their eyes met. Something changed in the air. Neither of them spoke, but both felt it. The pull, the warmth, the danger. Ethan stood quickly. "I should go." Margaret nodded, but her voice shook. "Of course, but after that night, everything felt different." They tried to act normal. They failed. Their conversations grew deeper. Their glances lasted longer. Once, when Ethan helped fix a shelf in her kitchen, he lost his balance. Margaret reached out to steady him. Her hands rested on his chest for just a second too long. Both froze. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It's okay," he said, though his heart was racing. From then on, every moment carried tension. Physical, emotional, powerful. One afternoon, rain poured again, just like the first night. Ethan arrived soaked. Margaret laughed softly and handed him a towel. "Always caught in storms," she said. "Seems like it," he replied. Their fingers brushed. This time, neither pulled away right away. The silence grew heavy. "I shouldn't feel this," Margaret whispered. "Me neither," Ethan said. "But you do," she said quietly. "Yes," her eyes filled with tears. "I love my daughter more than my life," she said. "But when you're near me, my heart feels awake again." Ethan's chest tightened. "I don't want to hurt her," he said. "Neither do I." They sat across from each other, pain and longing in every breath. Sometimes I wonder, Margaret said softly, if God puts people in our lives to test us or to teach us. Ethan replied. She nodded. That night, Ethan went home confused, guilty, and unable to sleep. Days passed. He tried to avoid Margaret, but he couldn't stop thinking about her voice, her kindness, the way she understood him without him explaining. Meanwhile, Lily remained, busy, unaware of the quiet storm building between the two people she loved most. One evening at dinner, Margaret and Ethan sat across from each other while Lily talked about her day. Their eyes met, just for a second, but it felt like hours. Lily didn't notice. But Margaret quickly looked down, her hands shaking. Ethan realized then how deep this had gone. It wasn't a small crush, it was something stronger, something dangerous. Later that night, Margaret sent a message. We need to talk properly. His heart pounded. He knew this moment was coming. The next day, he went to her house. She opened the door slowly. Her eyes were tired from crying. I can't keep pretending, she said. Neither can I, he replied. They sat facing each other, hands clenched. This isn't just loneliness anymore, she said. It's feelings. I know. I wake up thinking about you, she admitted. So do I? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I never wanted this, she whispered. I tried to be strong. Me too. They sat in silence. Then Margaret spoke softly. Ethan, you think someone can love two people at once? The question hit him hard. I don't know, he said honestly. But I know what I feel for you is real. Her breath shook. That scares me. Me too. She stood and walked to the window. I look at Lily and feel like I'm betraying her just by feeling this, she said. She trusts me. She trusts you. Ethan joined her. I would never hurt her, he said. But feelings already have, Margaret replied. The truth hurt. They had crossed a line emotionally, even without touch. I don't know how to stop loving you, she whispered. I don't either. Their eyes met again, full of longing and pain. For a moment, it felt like the world disappeared. Reality rushed back. This could destroy everything, Margaret said. I know. But part of me feels like you understand me more than anyone ever has. And you understand me? He said softly. Tears fell again. The love was real, and that made it worse, because real love is hard to walk away from. As Ethan left her house that day, his heart felt heavier than ever. He loved his wife, but he was falling for her mother. And he didn't know how to escape it. Behind him, Margaret closed the door slowly, sliding down against it as she cried. Two hearts connected in the worst possible way. Two people trapped between desire and loyalty. And neither knew how the story would end. Be continued. Ethan didn't sleep that night. His mind replayed every look, every word, every quiet moment with Margaret. Guilt pressed on his chest like a heavy stone. Lily lay beside him, breathing softly, trusting him, loving him. And that hurt the most. The next morning, Ethan made a decision. He would fix this. He woke Lily with breakfast in bed. He kissed her forehead. He told her he loved her. She smiled, surprised but happy. That day he sent Margaret a short message. We need space. For Lily. For what's right? There was no reply. Hours passed, then a single word appeared. I understand. But he could feel the pain behind it for a while. Things seemed better. Ethan came home earlier. He cooked with Lily. They laughed again. Kay watched movies like they used to. Slowly the distance between them faded. But the heart doesn't heal as fast as the mind decides. Every time Ethan drove past Margaret's street, his chest tightened. Every time Lily mentioned her mother, guilt burned. Meanwhile, Margaret was breaking quietly. She stopped calling friends. She barely ate. The house that once felt warm now felt empty. She would sit by the window in the evenings, watching the road, hoping not to see Ethan's car but aching if she didn't single quotes to love had entered her life. When she thought her heart was done, and now it was. Gone. One afternoon, Lily rushed into the house, pale. "My mom collapsed at the store," she said. "The doctor says stress and exhaustion. She needs someone with her tonight." Ethan felt his heart drop. "I'll stay," he said quickly. "You have work." Lily hugged him in relief. "Thank you. She'll be happy you're there." The word happy cut deep. That evening, Ethan walked into Margaret's house slowly. She lay on the couch, looking smaller than he remembered. "You came," she whispered. "I had to," he said softly. They sat in silence, the kind of silence filled with everything they weren't saying. "I'm sorry for the message," Margaret said finally. "I know you were right." "I didn't mean to hurt you," Ethan replied. "I know you were protecting your marriage and my daughter." Tears slid down her cheeks. "But it doesn't make the pain easier." He swallowed hard. "I miss you," she admitted. "So do I," he said before thinking. They both froze. Then she looked away. "That's why this is dangerous," she whispered. "We still feel it," Ethan nodded. "For weeks I tried to bury it," he said. "But feelings don't disappear just because we ask them to." Margaret gave a sad smile. "I loved my husband once," she said. "And when he died, I thought my heart closed forever. Then you came along and opened it again. I never meant to," Ethan said. "I know. Love doesn't ask for permission." They sat closer now, not touching, but feeling the warmth between them. "I look at Lily," Margaret said quietly, "and I feel like the worst mother in the world." "You're not," Ethan said. "You fought this. But I still loved you. So did I." Tears filled his eyes. "This has been the hardest thing I've ever felt. Mine too." Outside, the sky darkened as rain began to fall again. Just like the night it all started. Margaret laughed softly through tears. "Always the rain," she said. "Like our story," Ethan replied. "Quiet, heavy, emotional." They shared a sad smile. "Ethan," she said gently, "if we keep seeing each other like this, these feelings will only grow. I know. And one day Lily will get hurt." The thought broke him. "I would never forgive myself," he said. "Neither would I." They both knew what had to happen. But knowing didn't make it easier, I think. "Look," Margaret whispered, "some people come into our lives not to stay, but to show us we're still alive inside." Ethan nodded slowly. "You showed me what deep connection feels like," she continued. "But real love sometimes means letting go." His throat tightened. "I don't want to," he admitted. "I don't either." They finally reached for each other's hands. Not in passion, in goodbye. "I will always care about you," Ethan said. "You will always be in my heart." Margaret replied. They held hands as tears fell quietly. "This is where we stop," she said softly. "For Lily," he answered. "For what's right." They stood and hugged gently. The kind of hug filled with love, pain, and finality. When they pulled apart, both knew it was the last time they would allow themselves to feel this close. Ethan walked to the door. "Thank you for loving me," Margaret said behind him. "Thank you for reminding me how deep hearts can feel," he replied. He left without looking back, because he knew if he did, he might never leave. Weeks passed. Margaret focused on healing. She joined a book club. She went on morning walks slowly. The ache softened, not gone, but quieter. Ethan worked harder on his marriage. He listened more. He planned small trips. He brought Lily flowers for no reason. Their love grew stronger than before, built now on effort and presence. Lily never knew the storm that had almost destroyed everything. And that was the way both Ethan and Margaret wanted it. Sometimes, late at night, Ethan would think of Margaret and feel a soft sadness. Sometimes Margaret would hear Ethan's name and feel a familiar ache. But neither crossed the line again. They had chosen love, the hard way. The honest way. Some loves are not meant to be lived openly. They exist to teach, to awaken, and to make hearts stronger. And sometimes the bravest love is the one you walk away from. Not because it isn't real, but because real love protects, not destroys. And though their story ended quietly, it changed them forever. Two hearts, connected at the wrong time, to people who chose loyalty over desire, and a love that would remain a beautiful, painful memory, never acted on, but never forgotten.